Hey guys, it's me again. This is our 16th time hanging out. Did you guys have a favorite game growing up? When I was a kid, I absolutely loved jumping rope. But I'm not talking about the regular jump rope you see nowadays. We usually call it elastic jump rope or playing elastics. I'm not the best at explaining the rules, so I pulled up a wiki description for you guys as a reference. The game is usually played in teams of 3 to 5. The rope is actually a stretchy band made by tying a bunch of old rubber bands together, usually about 3 meters long. Players have to alternate their feet, hopping and jumping, while doing over a dozen basic moves like hooking, stepping on, or straddling the band. The height of the band gradually goes up from the ankles all the way to the top of the head. At the hardest level, the kids holding the rope even have to stand on their tiptoes and hold one arm straight up. In reality, the way we played wasn't nearly as strict as the wiki makes it sound. Usually, we'd just agree on a specific routine for that round. The rope would get higher and higher, and if the jumper messed up at any point, they were out, and the next person would take their turn. But the new jumper would always start back at the lowest height, and the cycle just kept repeating. Speaking of which, the first time I actually tried this game happened completely by accident. I had just moved up from kindergarten to elementary school. At the new school, I spent a lot of time by myself. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but I've always been the type who isn't great at socializing. Forget the new school. Even back in kindergarten, I was pretty much a loner. So, naturally, when I got to elementary school, I was usually just hanging out alone. You might be wondering, didn't I feel lonely being by myself all the time? I really thought back on it, and honestly, I probably didn't feel lonely at all back then. After all, I had never had any friends, so I didn't even know what having friends felt like. When you have nothing to compare it to, you don't really know what loneliness is. Then one day, just a totally normal day, we had PE class. The teacher had us do some light exercises and then just gave us free time. Usually, kids love free time. They instantly find their friends and start playing together. And naturally, some of them would start playing elastic jump rope, since it was super popular back then. To be honest, I hated PE class. But rather than saying I hated PE, it's more accurate to say I hated the free time part. Our teachers always liked to end class with free play, but whenever that happened, I felt completely out of place. I didn't have any friends. I had nothing I wanted to do, and I wasn't even allowed to go back and sit in the classroom. I just felt totally lost. So every time, I'd just find a step somewhere, sit by myself, and stare blankly. It looked like I was watching the other kids, but my mind was probably somewhere else entirely. But that day, a miracle happened. I was just sitting there spacing out like usual when suddenly someone called out to me. I looked up and it was a girl I didn't know. She asked me if I wanted to join them and play elastic jump rope. I couldn't believe it. I felt like a shooting star had just fallen right into my lap. I was practically dizzy. I immediately stood up and blurted out, "I'd love to." I couldn't wait to say yes because I was terrified that if I hesitated for even a second, the opportunity would vanish. That day turned out to be the perfect catalyst. From joining their game, I finally started to blend in and make friends. Later on, I actually asked that girl why she decided to invite me to play with them. She told me that while she was jumping rope, she noticed me staring at them so longingly. She felt bad for me, so she figured she'd try to include me. The funny thing is, I probably wasn't even actually watching them. I was just spacing out. But still, I am incredibly grateful for that little misunderstanding. Looking back, I realized the real reason I got that opportunity was simply human kindness. Because that girl had such a kind heart, when she saw me sitting there looking spaced out, her sympathy kicked in, and that pure kindness drove her to step up and invite me. Maybe the truth is, it wasn't the elastic jump rope I loved so much. It was the time I got to spend playing with them. That's all for today's little story. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. I'm Ping, a new YouTuber, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.